Alright, so here we're going to quickly review a hand from PokerStars. This is, what are the buy-ins here? I believe this is 1-2. So $200 buy-in. We have King 8 suited. On the button we get a 2.5 big blind raise. That's a small raise size. You can see in terms of the odds that you want here to call is 4.33 to 1, so 19% equity. And that's not just 19% equity against your opponent's range, that's 19% equity realization. So because you're going to be out of position, you're not going to be the aggressor, you're not going to realize your equity very well. So that's actually part of why calling may seem profitable pre-flop from out of position in the blinds a lot, but actually isn't. So we hit the second nut flush draw, but it is a paired board. We get, so just quick stats on the villain. The open raising villain was just a good tight aggressive regular. This villain we've played 1,000 hands with. They VPIP 60% of the time, percent raise 11, 3-bet 3. So their aggression stats are actually in line with what you'd see out of a good tight aggressive player in terms of the 11% raise, 3% 3-bet. Good tight aggressive online player, I realized. For anyone who plays live, the stats are going to be way different, but the VPIP of 60% is just humongous. Now I'm curious how much this player has lost $1,000 in the 1,000 hands that we've played with them. Obviously not a great win rate, and it is directly correlated to that 60% VPIP, and anytime you see anyone with a 40% or above VPIP, mark that player down and sit down at that table. So this player has a VPIP that's very high. The player to my left has a 47% VPIP. Everyone else at the table is a good, well, I don't know if they're necessarily good, but like they're more in line with like the tight aggressive regular. There's one villain here who is probably a little over aggro. Their 3-bet is showing 11% over 979 hands. That might be due to sample size, but I'd be willing to bet that person's just very over aggro. So we have the flush draw here. We have two pair in terms of 8s and 3s. So villain goes ahead and bets 3 big blinds here. That's a very straightforward call because the bet sizing is just so small. So they bet small on the flop, they bet small on the turn. They're going to bet small again on the river here, 4 big blinds. It's one of those bets where it's like, I don't know what you're trying to do here. Like, probably just have a weak hand, or maybe they just have such a strong hand and they're just trying to get value out of nothing because they put me on such a weak range. Either way, we have 2 pair. Obviously, any 3 or any boat is going to beat us. It might be worth considering like a cheeky little min raise here. Something like that, just to try to get a call out of like a pair of 10s, but I have to just go ahead and call. Keep the pot small. Villain has 6-4 here, so they have nothing. They were just bluffing with air. So it's, again, sometimes it's interesting to show these hands that you win because I think there are plenty of days where I feel like I'm just breaking even, except for the hands I get in with people who are total fish, who just kind of donate. And you know what? Honestly, that's just the way poker goes sometimes. Like, I just have a general feel for, like, having played so much online poker, like, my expected win rate based on who else is at the table. And if I'm up against just good, tight, aggressive regulars, because of the rake in the game, I'm not expecting to win money, and I don't, sometimes, sure, maybe you play that spot just for fun, but, if you want to make money, you have to sit down at tables with fish. I've heard people, and I don't know if they're being sarcastic, that say, like, table selection is for my opponents, and it's like, you have to be an idiot to think that you're so good that your win rate's not going to change based on your opponents. Like, you want to play with fish. Even if you're the best player at the table, like, there are times where maybe I'm the best player at the table, but I'm playing against good regs. So it's not like I have a big edge. The bigger the edge, the better. Like, find your edge and work volume. That's really how simple poker is. And like, making money at poker and being a like GTO aficionado are two very different things. And I think for most of us, it's like, yeah, we want to understand a strategy and be good at poker, but at the end of the day, like, making money is rewarding and fun. And whenever you play against these players, you're going to make money. So, and this player they were bluffing small. It doesn't make any sense. Like, you're calling pre-flop with 6-4 offsuit, doesn't make any sense. And then you're bluffing small on a board that never really turned out to be very scary. And it's just, just, I mean, there's no lesson here other than just like note these players and sit down anytime they're at a table, and go ahead and play. So